Hi, everyone. We're going to get started, and we're going to go right up till 1 o'clock and not have this. There's an extra 15-minute slot that is for each of the moderators to summarize, and instead what we thought was most useful is that we have more time for the open discussion, which has been wonderful, but I think we're all hungry for more of that. So that's what we're going to do, and that will mean we make up for that lost very well spent time that went over with the previous panel. So the title of this overall workshop is, of course, on the costs of inaction. And so the thinking behind that was that at the prior meeting, the evidence base on the costs of inaction is extremely important for the issues of translation that Peter Singer was talking about this morning in communication. That if we are to really bridge that gap between what we know and what we do, we need the economic argument for ECD to be clear, to be based on the strongest evidence, and for all of us to really kind of get onto the same message around it. And so the purpose of this panel is to understand what the costs of inaction are and to steal a little bit from Jerry Behrman's title. The costs of inaction can be also viewed as the benefits of action. And then we also have to consider the costs of action. If we divide one by the other, that's actually the benefit-cost ratio for ECD. And so the question of what the ratio of benefits to costs is something that we all need to kind of learn the literature and have at the front of our minds, no matter what sector or discipline or region of the world we're coming from. And the plus here is that we have a stronger evidence base than many who are unfamiliar with ECD realize, and at the same time we have critical gaps. So the purpose of this panel is to really assess critically what do we know, what don't we know, and how do different perspectives, most centrally economics, but also the perspectives of children's rights and perspectives of policymakers and folks who are actually making the planning decisions about how much to spend per child across sectors. How do we think of these different perspectives? So Jerry Behrman of the University of Pennsylvania has been a leader in many studies around the economic aspects of early childhood development globally. Will start us off. Ziba Vagri, who's an expert around children's rights and that perspective on the costs of inaction from the University of British Columbia will speak. Then Constanza Alarcón, who is in the President's Office of the country of Colombia, was an architect of their De Cero a Siempre unusually integrated national ECD policy, and who commissioned a study on the estimates of costs per child of that policy as she started implementing it. We'll talk about her experience. And then Quentin Rodon from the World Bank will talk about the World Bank's Saber policy assessment with some emphasis on financing strategies, which are the governance aspect of how we think of costs. So, Jerry. I will be strict about the time. I'm going to supplement the red light with a big stop sign. So we'll see if the human intervention has any added effect. But please, everyone stay on time.
Okay. Time